ride with me in my foul life.
Podcast world, what is shaking? Back at you, another episode, The Foul Life. This is the Dickies Workwear podcast series brought to you by our friends at Dickies Workwear. Their wear is spelled W-E-A-R. On this podcast, wear is spelled W-H-E-R-E. Where are you working today, America? Are you in the trenches, the ditches, on the ladder, on the roofs? Are you a surgeon? Are you a pilot? Are you a bus driver? Are you a janitor? Are you a teacher? We work. That's what we were put on this earth to do, is to acquire a work ethic and work and provide for our friends and family. And our friends at Dickies are providing and making and designing and engineering the best work attire and apparel known to man, from pants to boots to socks to shirts to jackets to zip-up flannels. You name it, it's there. Dickies knows what the working man and working woman all over the world, the American worker, the American working woman, what we need to be successful. So check them out, Dickies. They are all over your nearest retailer outlet. And I'm proud today to have a working American that's about 25 years old. He works his butt off every day in the waterfowl world, and I'm excited to have him on the podcast. His nickname is what we like to call the Axel Bender, but we were not going to go into how he got that nickname today, but we are going to introduce Mr. Riley Haugh to the Foul Life Dickies Workwear podcast series. What's up, Riley?
What's up, Chad? Thank you for having me, man.
Axel Bender kind of sounds like a UFC name. There's Style Bender.
Dude, come on.
Well,
Axel
sometimes
Bender.
That's what Rocky's always told me, is that you're that guy that always packs the trailers way too heavy.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Pack them way too heavy.
Too many decoys around.
Too many decoys.
So you're from the Durham, California area, and you're a full-time waterfowl guide?
Yes, sir.
And give me a little bit of what that entails. Is it a year-round job, or does it start seasonal, or when does your job start?
You know, it's not full-time, but it pretty much is year-round. I'm always thinking about what we can do better, or what, is coming up next. Normally, October 1st is when everything starts to rumble around here. Some of the rice has been harvested, and that's when we really start to get our rice pits going and ready for clients to come. So basically from October to March 10th, March 15th, around that area, I'm going nonstop, whether it's a duck trip, a goose trip, and traveling too. So it's all fun and games, though. I love it.
You love working for Rocky?
Oh, couldn't. It was always a dream of mine, and we're working great together right now, and I know in the future we'll just keep getting better. So,
why was it a dream of yours?
Shoot, man, I don't know. Just growing up, I always knew there was just a passion in the outdoors and hunting industry, and I shot for my dreams. Always wanted to be happy waking up every morning, and that was my goal, to be happy and find a way and to do what I love to do every single day and find a way to make a living doing it. And that's what I'm doing right now, and I couldn't be more thankful.
So guiding, everybody hears guiding and they think, well, you just hunt in the morning, and then the rest of the day you're off. You get to go home, take a nap, shower up, get ready for dinner that night. But when you're doing it like you guys run at this operation at Merlo, the clientele that you're bringing in, you got speckle belly geese, you got snow geese, you got rice pits like you talked about for ducks, puddle ducks, pintails, widgeons, mallards, teal, gadwalls. We guys killed a canvasback this morning. A lot of different species in this part of California, a lot of really awesome world-class duck hunting, but guiding is not easy. So give me a rundown of how an average day goes from when you get up in the morning to when you go to bed at night.
Yeah. So, a lot of people just think, yep, I do show up and take guys hunting, like you said, but the alarm clock's going off early. You got to think about, you have to have everything crossed, make sure everything's ready to go. I wake up, go grab a machine, and then go and pick up clients every morning, certain time, certain place. You got to have your dog has to be ready to go every single day. Yourself, you got to be clear-minded, clear set. And then, once you're in the pit, yeah, you're hunting and you're having the time of your life. But there's always something that you see, this pit here needs a brush job after the hunt. So then, after the hunt, it's 11 o'clock. Well, your day's not over. You go back out to the pit, brush blinds, make everything better, fix sinking decoys. And then as far as, where I'm at, I'm guiding goose hunts almost, in the heat of it, almost every day. So, you go 15, 20 days straight of guiding goose hunts, you got to go scout afterwards to find the next feed. And so, we're changing fields every single day. We're never setting in the same field, same check. It's a different field. And every field we are setting on is the X. So, yeah.
And when you say scouting, you're saying that after that day's hunt, you go out, brush blinds, fix the decoy spread. You might need to adjust some for tomorrow's wind. You might go to another pit depending on where the birds are, according to the wind. But obviously, your scouting entails that, watching the weather, watching the forecast, watching the roost, watching the loafs, where are the birds at. So is that like you get done with the pitch, you go back, get lunch now, maybe take a nap, and then you're out again in the afternoon, and it's just windshield time, dirt roading it, looking for birds? Yep.
And then, depending on the time of the year, you can really start to pattern when they're getting off the roost in the evenings. So, sometimes it'll be 3 o'clock, they'll get off and they'll feed 3 through, 5 p.m. And sometimes it's 4:30 and they get off late. So it all depends on the weather and the birds, like you said. And if a scout works out, it works out. But then the next, if you have birds on your field, you have to make sure the weather's going to play for it too. So just because we have birds on our field, doesn't mean we always call hunts, because we always look at the weather and make sure we have that in our favor as well.
So you have a lot of things that are in your favor, but a lot of times you don't. You don't have the things in your favor. It could be fog, sure. It could be a dome, it could be a low ceiling, it could be no wind, it could be warm temps like it is right now. There's a lot of things that will dictate what waterfowl, ducks, and geese do during their, after they get here from their annual migration. They work their way down the Pacific Flyway. They get to this part of the Butte Sink or the Rice Country of California. And then all of a sudden you have a span of a bunch of ups, but then there's valleys, there's lows, there's downs. You have a lot of clients that come in, and what are the pressures like? Do you have pressure? Do you stress out with this job? Because this is a job. People say that if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. But do you still love it every day? Are you fired up every day? And is there a lot of stress that comes with it?
No, for sure. I personally, I do. I love it every single day. But like you said, there's a lot of stress involved. But like you said, when when a hunt doesn't go to plan, I always think, I always come out a way to make it better. Even if there is no ducks flying, at least there's just the camaraderie in the field and getting to know different people and experiencing different stories and meeting all these people from all around the world and just, talking and socializing. And that's the one thing with duck hunting that you can do. A lot of other hunting, you have to be quiet there, quiet that. You're not really socializing as much as you do in a duck blind. And that's one thing I love about duck hunting. I hunt every species, a big game, I fish. I'm in the outdoors 365, so to speak, but there's something about duck hunting. Like you said, if it is a slow day to come, you always make something out of it and get to meet so many different people. And I have a ball, and I'm sure I might get tired of it, but for now, it's all fun and games.
What do you love about the clients, and what don't you like about clients? You got any story of a client that just wore you out? No names need to be said, but what do you love about it? Is it fast friends that you make? Do you stay in touch with a lot of them? Do some of them come in here and they just wear you out because they don't think you called the shot right, or the decoys aren't right, or you're not in the right spot, or another blind killed more than our blind today? You hear it all as a waterfowl guide. So are you experiencing that, or do you take it with a grain of salt? Do you wear it on your sleeve? Do you take it personal?
Yeah. No, I usually take it with a grain of salt because, Merlo Waterfowls, we're so well known for being successful. And if you're a true hunter, that there are bad days. And if you book a guided hunt, we're not going to go. It's not guaranteed limits ever. It's hunting. We're just putting you in the best spot possible that we feel is what we have. I there's no pressure on me really. Whatever happens in the field, and I just try to make the best of it. You know, if it's a good day, it's a good day. If it's a bad day, it's a bad day, and you wake up the next day and do it again.
So you didn't answer me. Give me a story. Have you had a client that just wore you out in the blind and was
group of 5? It was a stormy day. Group of 5. Their camo was bright blue jackets, and it was storming. And luckily, you know, we have roll tops, and they were all shooting over and unders, smoking 24/7. You know, and then the roll top, you know, you're trying to hide the guys because they're wearing blue jackets, but they're smoking, so you're trying to blow the call, and it was just all, you know, that. But we ended up killing all our birds, that's the story. You know, that was one of the craziest hunts I've ever had, and it happened to be with that group. I was stressed out the entire time because we were shooting so much, and they were just inexperienced hunters, but they killed all their limits, and you know, I get their phone. My phone rings every single year. I guided them, I think, 4 years ago, and they got my number, and they call me every single year around May to book another hunt, and it's classic.
They still wear blue?
You know, we haven't had them back since then, but they still call.
Do they?
Yeah, we're always booked up.
You're always booked up when they call. Are you for real, or are you just telling them that?
That's for anybody to decide.
Oh, yeah, I can see exactly where you're going with that. So what makes it successful? What has to happen? What pieces have to fall in place to have, let's start with speckle bellies. What has to fall in place? You don't have to give away your secrets of what you and Merlo and Alex and the guys are specializing in to kill, because you guys really do. You have the best speckle belly operation I've ever seen. 10 birds a day per man. It's big limits. That could hurt a guy if they're not working and the clients want to stay out in the field longer. Yeah. They all got 6 birds each. That's plenty, but they want to try to get their 4 more each. Yep. That could be another couple hours. That could be more pressure on the birds. What pieces have to fall in place for it to be one of those knockdown 8-man limits, and then plus your 40 or 50 snows on top of that? You guys have several hundred bird days. What has to happen?
First off, you have to be mobile. You have to have a lot of options, and we do, and we're blessed to have a lot of options. And for the pieces to fall together, you just, you know, we're fortunate to be on feeds every set. So once you find something that works, you keep doing it, and then if it doesn't work, you kind of twist it, and once you're hunting these day after day after day, you really learn speckle bellies. You learn how to kill them, and you know, we're fortunate to be able to move from place to place, and for the most part, you know, we're extremely successful. We have a great operation, a lot of you know, hands on deck. It's not just us 3. There's so many other people involved within the farming group. Even, you know, we have a lot of labor that comes out and helps us. It's unbelievable. And you know, there's guys that come out and set the spread and pick up, and they have never even, you know, they haven't been on a goose hunt in their life. And you know, we're fortunate to have help and have a lot of eyes, and you know, just being able to move around and being mobile, it's key.
What kind of guy is Rocky Merlo? Don't kiss his ass because he's your boss. Be honest. What kind of guy is he?
Shoot, man. He's in my eyes, he's a man of gold to me. He's done everything for me since the start. You know, I wasn't close to Rocky until I really graduated high school and started guiding a lot, you know, for myself. And ever since then, you know, it's been 6 years now. He's treated me, you know, with the utmost respect, and I've worked my butt off for him. And you know, we always say, you know, keep working hard, be honest, and keep your nose to the grindstone. And that's worked for me, and that's worked for him. And no, Rocky's a great guy, and I can't say anything bad about him.
Is he a good outfitter?
I'd say he's the best. Yeah.
Why? What does he have? What does he do that's so special that makes Merlo Waterfowl so special?
He does stuff that no one else does. He's always thinking ahead of everybody else. He always is one step ahead. And with him being one step ahead, combined with Alex and I's knowledge and expertise in the field, calling abilities, it's pretty hard to beat, And yeah, he's always just thinking outside the box, whereas other guys are just, day in, day out, they're doing the same thing, permanent spreads, socks, you name it. You can't get away with having 100 bird days, 150 bird days with permanent spreads and trafficking birds. I mean, you can here and there. Don't get me wrong, it'll work out. But for the most part, yeah, you have to be mobile, and Rocky's, he's the best at doing that.
And why, like, when you say he's always a couple or 3-4 steps ahead, what you mean as far as like innovation and product and decoys and gear and how to hide there? I mean, he's just always thinking, huh?
Yep. Always thinking, next step. Like we have a couple next year, something in the works that I've never heard of anybody ever doing. Excuse me. But yeah, so it's in the goose industry, and we're always, trying something new. Like this year, I can give it away, but we mowed all our checks, and that, it boosted our bird numbers, tremendously. And we had a good year when they were here. And yeah, he's just always, whether it's product development, a hide, like you said, or even a spread, we have certain things up our sleeves that I've never seen anybody throw, unless they're not picturing it as well. But yeah, there's some certain things that we do that I don't think a lot of other people do.
And what kind of guy is Alex? Torrance,
toe ponce, yeah.
Toe ponce.
He's the heart, dude. He's the guy you go to for anything. He's the backbone of the whole goose operation. Extremely smart. I can't, Alex has been absolutely wonderful to me since day one. I can remember going to my first, because my first goose hunt with Merlo, because I set a lot of spreads before I even got to hunt and show what I had. And, I always would set spreads and then go duck hunting. And that's when I was a young. And Alex was always treating me with very, great respect, and me and him are hitting it off right now, and we're hunting well together. And that's another thing too, as guides, you got to have another great guide with you. I'm not an individual. I'm always with other guides and goose hunts, and working well together, calling well together, getting along, having fun. That's what it's all about. And Alex and I do that. And he's wonderful man.
Is he a good goose hunter?
He's not good. He's not. There's not a chart for Alex. Yeah, he's above and beyond.
Really?
Oh yeah.
He just doesn't like to smile.
He just.
I love that dude, but he just doesn't smile. Maybe it's me. Do you think it's me?
He's been there, done that. Let's just say that. He's seen so many hunts under his belt that. I don't know if he does it for his dog at this point, and
let's talk about his dog, Bob.
Yeah.
What a great name for a dog, Bob. I mean, what a freaking stud, too.
Yeah, Bob the dog, man. He is, I've hunted over a lot of dogs, and Bob, he's the best I've ever hunted over. And I know Alex is super proud of him. It's a dog that I wish everybody could see work in the field. And his trainer, Bruce, is unbelievable as well up in Oregon. And both those guys just really know, it's all about handling the dog. I think, if you're a good handler, you're going to have a good dog. So, and, Alex is an exceptional handler. And, you pair that with a dog like Bob, and you guys aren't going to beat it, So, and it's awesome to watch him on goose hunts work. And it saves me a lot of time and effort too, chasing cripples around and whatnot.
And do you look at something like that and want to have all of that as part of your arsenal? You being the young guy in the group, you're 25, Alex is in his 40s, Rocky's in his 50s. Do you want to be able to reach that plateau? Do you want to make this your living? This, this Dickies Workwear podcast is about livelihood and how we make our living and how we provide, how we create revenue streams. Do you want to make your living in this industry watching how Rocky has built it and how him and Alex's friendship and business partnership has flourished through the years, and meeting all of these clients that come in? We just had the Jack Daniels executives come into camp, and you got to meet Casey and Tommy and Jay, and you get to meet really cool people because that common denominator is hunting, right?
Yeah.
And that brings a lot of different walks of life. We've always said hunting is the common denominator that brings a lot of different walks of life together. Do you see yourself being 45 like Alex is and making his living chasing ducks and geese?
It is honestly, it'd be a dream of mine, and it's a goal, definitely. My options are open. I have a degree. I made sure to get one, just as a backfall. But yeah, if it was up to me right now, I'm going to find a way to make a living in this industry one day. And my options are open, and the only way to get there is just to keep working. And keep working hard and stay humble, stay honest, and keep going at it and dream big. I started out as any old boy. I grew up in Durham, like I said, and I had no connections in this industry. The only connection I had was my dad and my brother and getting me into the outdoors. And I credit my dad just introducing me to hunting and fishing at an extremely young age, and it stuck with me. It was a hobby, and now it's a way of life for me, and I'm extremely blessed right now, and I couldn't be more thankful. So yeah, to answer your question, it's long rant, but yeah, I would want to make a living in the future doing this.
And where do you need to improve, you think? Are you a good caller? Do you understand decoys? Do you understand different species, movement on the water, different temperatures and what birds are going to do? Do you understand concealment and blinds? Do you have a good grasp on scouting? Do you understand how important networking is and communication and talking to landowners and farmers and ranchers and your other guides and your other coworkers, and you're staying in touch with your clients? Are you starting to get the gist of how this is? We started off by saying, hey, is this a seasonal job, a full-time job? The real answer is, when you're a guide, it's a full-time job, right? It
is, yep.
It might be seasonal, but when you're in it, it's nowhere near 40 hours a week. Exactly. It's more like 80 to 90 hours a week, because even at night, you're getting gear ready. You're fixing a flat tire, replacing a belt on one of the four-wheelers, or fixing one of the skids, or whatever you're doing. You really have a lot of moving parts that if any of them go wrong, it can make one of your clients not enjoy or experience the hunt of a lifetime, which is what your goal is, right?
Yep. You're doomed. So, like you said, it's a full-time gig, and you're going non-stop. But, if you enjoy it like I do, it's not really work right now. It's it.
It's more of a passion that becomes something to where you can't quit it, right? It's not
exactly.
You could go get another job. You're educated. You have a college degree in what?
Environmental science with emphasis in fish and wildlife management.
From where?
Half of it from Chico State and half of it from an online program. So
Chico State, an online program. You have a bachelor in science.
Bachelor of science, yeah.
So, when you're making your living blowing a goose whistle, right?
Yeah.
What they call them goose whistles.
Yeah, goose whistles.
Did your mom and dad say, "What the freak are you doing? All this money for college education, and you're not using it?"
Right. Yeah. I'm sure my mom's kind of skeptical about it. But she's extremely proud of me right now, and so is my dad, and they're telling me to go for it and chase your dreams. But like you said, I do have a backfall. I do have a piece of paper and some experience with fish and wildlife and whatnot. So I'm not too worried about it right now. I'm happy that I have it. And as far as improvement goes, like you said, I don't think I have improvement is in the hunting part of it, but as far as socializing and connecting and having communication, like you said, there's a lot more to it than just hunting. I just wish I need to be more organized is what I'm thinking. And at least I know that I need to be more organized. And, it's always something that I need to improve on. I'm always thinking, what do I got to do next to be better and get, higher up type thing.
What do you mean get higher up? As far as what's your goal? Do you want to work with Rico and take over Merlo Waterfowl someday? Have you talked to Rocky about your plans? Do you want to go out on your own? A lot of guides become outfitters,
Sure.
they think that they can go out and do it on their own.
For sure.
Is that one of your goals to try to gain as much knowledge as you can and go start your own?
No, not me personally. No, I would never start something on myself. As of now, no, I would never think of that. Rocky and I have something in the works planned, and hopefully it gets bigger, and I'm excited to see where that takes us, and we'll go from there, But as of now, then I enjoy working for Rocky and Rico both, and I'm excited to see Rico grow up and eventually run the company. I see a lot of good things in Rico. I've watched him grow up to, from 12, 13 years old to now he's almost 18, and it's incredible to see him grow, and I'm stoked to see him take it over and run with it. It's going to be fun.
Do you think he wants to take it over?
Oh yeah, he does.
He's eating up with it?
He's eating up with it.
Is he good at hunting? He's 17 years old. Would you consider him a good hunter?
Yeah, he's unbelievable for 17 years old. Yeah, he's unbelievable. I wasn't nearly the caller or anything, at 17 that I am now, and I could try to compare myself to him, and it's, he's incredible. When you're around guys like Rocky and yourself, he's learned so much incredible things about hunting, and he's well above his years as far as hunting goes and everything, and socializing, like you said, he's well above his years, and that's only because of one common denominator, that's duck hunting. He's brought him into so many different situations that Rico, he's doing great, and I'm excited to see him grow up and take it over.
And when you start to talk about, taking things over or going to the next level of maybe owning this business or becoming, in management or upper echelon of the folks that are involved in Merlo Waterfowl down the road, do you look at anything like growth or expansion, or do you, because you've been other places, you've big game hunted, there's waterfowl in Idaho, do you look at something, is that in the works at all to where you'd want to have a multiple locations across the western United States or somewhere?
For sure. That would be ideal. I always think of that actually, like you said, I am passionate in big game hunting, and I like traveling other places to waterfowl hunt. But if, there's always room for expansion. And as far as here in California and waterfowl hunting, there's so many areas you can hunt here that we are not taking advantage of now. And if we did, we could blow up even more and, be even more well known. But like you said, there's so much room for expansion as far as deer hunting goes, antelope hunting, fishing trips, all that Merlo Waterfowl could expand on and get bigger. And that would be fun to do, and we'll see what happens. And I know there's plenty of opportunity in every state to do it. And it's just getting the ball rolling type thing and actually doing it.
So being good at it though is what you have to hone your skills to have the confidence to be able to take people on hunts. And now you start talking about the future, you start talking about ownership, you start talking about expansion. What has to give me some ideas? How many decoys do you have to have a good duck hunt in this country? Is bigger the better on a rice check? And then talk to me about goose decoy spreads. Do you have to have the biggest spread in the world to be able to attract them and keep their attention and decoy large flocks of speckled bellies and snow geese? Yeah. Are you ready to make that commitment, that investment on being able to, build your revenue streams, work your ass off enough to be able to take something like this over or be a part of it and start maybe becoming an equity owner?
Yeah.
Give me an idea, like what works out here, and are you ready to take those steps?
Sure. Yeah, as far as spreads go and spread sizes, it all depends. There's to relate to person who hunts public land around here. When I was growing up, I hunted public land, every chance I got because I had no access to private. And there's days when I went out with 2 decoys on a jerk string, two duck decoys, and killed my limit of birds. And it's just all depends. And then on a rice check, late season, like right now, what we're in, a lot of guys pull all their decoys and they have 10 out. So it's a lot of times bigger isn't better, but in some instances, like Rocky's really big pit, we have 2,000 decoys out there, and it does attract a lot of birds. But on the days when it's calm and there's no wind, you got 2,000 decoys sitting on a glass pond, and sometimes that don't work out, So it all depends, time and place. And as far as a goose spread goes, we try to mimic what we see the night before, really. But whether if it's 10 specks, 10, 12 specks we throw, sometimes you can do that. You can get away with it. But we do throw 250. And there's mornings where we'll throw 150. It all depends on the time and place. And it's always evolving too. Every day's different. We're changing spreads up this year, and usually we run with one certain spread, and we found another one was working, so we started running with that one. And we learn. I learn something new every single day goose hunting, and that's what I love about it. Every single day it's something new.
And when you start talking about speckle belly hunting, is it always better to have whites mixed in as as an outfitter and a guide, and you're thinking, are the specs always going to be with the snows? Will they always decoy to that? Do they get, leery of snows to where they want to stay away from them? Yeah. Do you ever go to just an all spec spread?
Well, yeah. So that's another thing that Rocky and I and Alex are talking about. We have something that coming about doing an all spec spread, but the hide is what deters people a lot of the times, because you got to be on an edge of a field and layouts. And so it's tough, specs like to be in the center, and that's why we run our white suits, and just for the hide. And you can't get away with anything else, so we put whites next to, the specs. And specs generally do not like to land anywhere near whites, depending on the circumstance. There's sometimes they'll pile drive right in. Most of the time they will. But on the days that they don't want to be near snow geese, you're kind of doomed sitting in a white spread, trying to get speckle bellies in close, because they want to be 150 yards from the whites, and that happens sometimes. And it's just tough. An all speckle belly spread is tough here. We can't get away with throwing A-frames in the middle of a field like guys in Arkansas can, and Canada. You can't get away with throwing these big, huge bush piles in the middle of a rice field, or we can't do that here. They're too cagey. And so that to answer your question, an all speckle belly spread would be ideal, but it's tough to actually orchestrate with the amount of guys that we have.
Can you kill specks consistently over water? Could you, if you thought it out? And can you do that? Are you taking a chance to chase them out of the country? You're not really hunting the roosts here. A lot of them are going to go to the refuges. You might have there's a lot of water around on any given year, even though it was down this year. But specs will usually find a safe haven to stay. Mm-hmm. Do you try to intercept them and get them after they feed, coming back to that day loaf, and try to get them over water? Is it harder to do that?
Yeah, I don't think very many people target. Like you said, they don't target speckle bellies strictly after their feed. And, that's something that we can expand on. And like you said, if you find a good day roost, I'm sure you could put out some speck floaters and do some good work on them here. But it's hard to do that. You'd almost have to go in there at a 10 a.m. sort of thing while they're feeding, and get in there and set decoys and wait for them to come back around, whatever time they decide to come back out of the feed. You can't really, if you were to go in there in the morning, they would essentially be there, and you would bust the roost, and they probably wouldn't come back, so you'd have to play it pretty strategically. Speckle bellies over water is definitely fun, but it is much tougher than dry field hunting. And Yeah, I think it's just strictly based off of they're coming in to feed. Whereas, like you said, if they're coming to get water, there's so much water around. There's just obviously more opportunity elsewhere if they pick out anything that's not right with your loaf spread.
So do you feel confident that you can decoy them if they get over you, you're saying? If they get over you and you have the right spread out, you feel confident that you can do it. What does the weather have to be like to kill them over water?
Yeah, you got to have, I mean, your water has to be moving. It can't be glass, no glass on the water. And ideally, obviously it's, everybody kind of knows this, but the sun at your back, I always try to put the sun at our back in every circumstance we can get. But, with north winds here, we always, the sun is a big factor because you're always facing it throughout the day, and that's tough. But yeah, ideally you have a wind and there's nothing to it. Just get them in. And
do you want to be in a pit on a day like that? Is that the best hide in a rice levee?
Yeah. Ideally, yeah. I like roll tops. The way we do it at Merlo Waterfowl, the roll tops are the way to go. With the rice straw, that's another huge labor job. 60 bales of rice straw get laid down our checks before water even comes in, and we have a crew come out and set flake by flake by flake all the way down the entire check so clients don't slip and fall when it gets wet. And so it's basically, I call it the yellow brick road, and it's, you can drive a truck down it really, but it's super comfy. And yeah, ideally pit blind is what we're running here in California on the checks, and that's what you want to run.
Here's a question I've always wondered about rice hunting. How deep do you want the water? Do you want it surface water? Do you want it clumpy to where you can see some piles of rice and rice straw in there to where a sprig or a male could get up and sit on one or stand on one and sun himself?
Yeah.
Or are they always swimming in there? What do you want it to look like, the depth of the water?
Yeah, well, it depends on where you're at too. So like if you're in a loaf, you're obviously going to have higher water because that's where they're I've seen ducks tend to like higher water during when they want to loaf, but when they want to feed and come into your spread, a lot of times, we like cloddy stuff, low water, and we definitely start to draw it down towards the end of the season, because by the end of the season, a lot of our rice fields are pretty dang fed out, and so we lower the water to make it even easier for the birds to find more food. And if your water level, if you drop it and you find a good depth where the birds like it, you try to keep it there and just match it. And
is that the same for ducks and geese?
Goose hunting is a different story. Early season when all our fields are getting flooded up, our geese, they target brand new water that's coming right out of the pump. So they'll find the water line within fields, and every morning not every morning, but it varies a lot. They'll find new water and they'll bump from field to field to field to field. So it's pretty hard to pattern them, because usually, guys are turning on their water generally around the same time. So birds are just popping from field to field, and you just it's tough to hunt them because it's new water, and you can't really lay in a field that has water. So then you have to go on the check, and then there's usually no pit blind in the check. So then you got to figure out a way to hide there. So early season hunting geese over new water is tough. But then, it'll phase out and they'll start to hit dry around Christmas usually. And then from there on out, it's usually pretty go time,
Do you prefer wet or dry for specks?
Dry for sure, yeah.
Just because you get to lay in the middle of the field and hide from them, or it's just more comfortable, or they come a lot easier to it? What's the deal?
Well, yeah, you get to set where they want to actually set. If you're on an edge, a lot of times you're not really on the X. You're actually, if you're in the same field but on the edge, you're actually about 75 yards away from the X, because they want to be in the center. They don't want to be where the spread is, So that's why I like hunting dry fields for speckle bellies in white suits, because you can go to the dead center or go right where they were feeding and set there and not have to worry about a hide.
And do you love to eat specks? Are they the best waterfowl there is?
Yeah, for sure. Speckle belly, bar none. I haven't had crane yet, But yeah, my favorite species to eat for sure.
Speck's better than crane.
Probably is.
It is. Speck's the absolute best, especially these rice-fed
Yeah,
specks. Down
that's
in
another
California.
thing too. We're killing rice-fed ones, and they're fat, happy. They get down here pretty early, and they don't really do much. They just eat rice. We don't get the cold temperatures like a lot of other states do. A cold day for us here is like a really cold day is like a 30-degree low nowadays. A 28-degree low is a cold day for us, which is crazy. And we have great temperatures for them, and they don't really get messed with as far as weather goes. And yeah, we're blessed where we live for sure.
For speckle bellies, for
Definitely
sure.
a mecca. Yeah.
It seems like the mallards are down a little bit, and that leads me into, you've worked with California Waterfowl Association a lot in the past. Mallards are down, the Klamath Refuge, there's a lot of work being done up there, Tule Lake and the Klamath Basin. Rock is the chairman of the board, all the guys in CWA. There's a lot that needs to be done. Even as strong as California can be, this state is tough for people to want to come and hunt here because of the laws, the politics, the guns, the purchase of ammo. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're making it as tough as heck. You're a young guy. You are involved in many ways on, organizations like CWA. Are you trying to recruit your friends that are your age and maybe a little younger? Are you a good voice for this?
Yeah.
The importance of how important it is to get involved?
100%. Yeah. My favorite hunts, I was going to tell you that when you asked earlier, but my favorite hunts are taking young people. When I see juniors at the meeting spot, I light up because that's what ultimately that's what it's all about, is getting new people into the sport, because without youngsters and without juniors and fathers taking out daughters and sons, the sport will never go on. You need people involved, and it's wonderful. I love seeing young people introduced to the sport, and I do my best to make people aware of what is going on. And when people do ask me, well, hey, why don't what's up with our mallard population, like you say, and it's because we don't have breeding habitat here in California. We do, but not a lot of it. And it's hard for ducks, local mallards, to stay here, nest, and have a successful hatch and brood. It's super hard. It's very difficult, and to have our mallard numbers rise, we need better breeding habitat, and that's number one.
And that's a big part of Klamath, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where they go to breed, and with no water up there.
Yeah, and molt too, and it's a huge area for molting, and without water, it's all bad. It's a sad and sore subject.
So if I'm a guy that's 18, 19, 20 years old, and I want to come to work, this is the Dickies Workwear Podcast. I want to come to Merlo Waterfowl to work, and Riley's the first guy that I meet. Mm-hmm. And I say, how can I get a job? I want to be doing what you're doing. What do you tell me?
Work hard, stay humble, be honest.
I know, but how do I get a job with Merlo first? You don't know me. I can't show you my humility. Is there an internship? Is there ways to prove to you that I can hammer them down and kill them consistently, that I'm a good converser and I can talk to clients and make them feel all warm and fuzzy inside?
Yeah, there's always room, if someone fits with us, they fit with us, and if they come around and fit with us, it works. We have gone through guides, and sometimes it doesn't work out and sometimes it does. And when it does, it's usually a good thing. And like I said earlier, you have to work with great guys. And I'm fortunate, my best friend Bailey Fritter, and he started guiding with me just this year. And I remember starting to speckle belly hunt with Bailey, and he never even picked up a speckle belly call, and now he's better than me, and it's cool it's just extremely cool to watch people transition from being beginner sportsman to moderate to extremely good, and it's cool to watch people progress as guides and people, just in general. It's awesome.
So you're looking forward to 2021. 2020 was a weird year. A lot of groups canceled on some parts because of COVID. We got to get past this. How excited are you for the late season spec, finishing up this waterfowl season, you still got a couple weeks left, then late season specs, then you roll into turkeys, then you have striper season, then you have salmon season, you have sturgeon season on the Sacramento River. This place is an outdoorsman's paradise, right? A sportsman's paradise. What are you looking forward to? Are you excited?
Yeah. Like I said, there's always room for improvement, and we have a lot of things up our sleeve for 2021. And it's, I can't be more excited just for it to get here. And like I said, we still have 2 weeks to go or a week to go. I don't even know what day it is right now, to be honest with you, because I've been going so much. But all I know is I have a trip in the morning and probably the next day, and from there on out. And it's it's a grind, and I can't be more thankful, to be here and be able to experience such a wonderful lifestyle.
And tell me this. If somebody wants to come hunt with the Riley,
oh God,
can they ask for you? Can they say, "Hey, we would like to have Riley be our guide"? Can they do that? And because people are here, they're here seeing you on the Fowl Life. They're hearing you. Yeah. They're seeing you get your name out there. Can they say, "Hey, we want to hunt with the Riley"?
For sure. I enjoy, like I said, I enjoy meeting new people. That's what it's all about. And for me, I just like passing on knowledge and trying to get people more experience. And eventually, hopefully, that person passes it on, and that person gets better. And it's cool. It's cool. Like just the other night, Bailey's little brother Nolan came up to me. Hey, it's cool. And I said, "What, Nolan?" And he said, you taught me, kind of how to speckle belly call, and now I'm speckle belly calling, and now my buddies are getting better at speckle belly calling, and now they're starting to kill birds at the refuge, and it's like, just because you taught me how to speckle belly call, it transitioned into like 10 different youngsters that are in high school at Chico High, and they're just going out having a ball, learning how to call and harvest birds, and it's just awesome. Yeah, I love it.
So cool.
Yeah, it's sweet.
What a way to make a living, dude. Congratulations. Yeah. You did shave your beard, though. The Axel Bender shaved his beard. Literally shaved his beard. And we always used to tell everybody that Riley looked like Happy Gilmore's caddy.
Oh, God. You guys should see me now. I look like a nice prime specimen.
Primed up, just clean cut, clean shaven.
Primed up.
But the Axel Bender is a great nickname. I love it for you. And I think that we need to get a poster made of the Axel Bender.
Oh my God.
Just have like an axle over your shoulders, like a bird strap, and just kind of have you bending it down.
Yeah, exactly. The Axel Bender, because there's too many limits of specs inside of it.
That's exactly how you got that nickname.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. Too many limits of specs were inside of it.
That's Riley Haugh, the Riley. Request them when you book your hunt with Merlo Waterfowl. Trust me, the waiting list is long for their goose hunts because they are one of a kind. I've seen it many times myself, and I'm here to attest. Don't cross that one off your bucket list just because you don't think you want to come to California. Get out here and experience it. It is a true bucket list hunt. Riley Haugh, one of the lead guides here, Alex Topans, Rocky Merlo, Rico Merlo, everybody involved in the Merlo farming, Merlo Waterfowl, California Waterfowl Association. Thank y'all so much for rolling out the red carpet for the Fowl Life and Bandit every time we come to town. It's been another awesome episode of the Fowl Life Podcast, Dickies Workwear Series. Where are you working, America? WHERE. Wear Dickies. Support companies and brands and cultures that support us and what we do in the outdoors. Thank you to everybody at Dickies for bringing us another awesome episode. That's Riley Haugh. You can find him at merlowaterfowl.com. And like I said before, request the Riley. He's on Instagram at, give it to me, Riley.
Just rhaugh5, all lowercase. RHAUGH 5.
5. Is that your baseball number, football number?
Football. And my dad's racing number.
He said he was the player of the year, and we are going to have there's a guy named Ty Eubanks in camp this week with us, and there will be a wrestling match tonight. Riley worked him in the decoy spread a couple weeks ago. The rematch is tonight. That's Dickies Workwear Podcast right here at the Fowl Life Podcast Series. I'm Chad Belding. Tom, Jake, hit that button. This is 2 a.m. Logic. The song is called My Fowl Life. Thank you all very much.